They say hindsight is 20th. But let me tell you something. When you're living in what feels like a fairy tale, you don't go looking for cracks in the foundation. My name is Marcus Reed. 6 months ago, I was absolutely convinced I'd hit the jackpot when it came to love. After a lifetime of dating disasters and relationships that flamed out faster than a 4th of July barbecue, I met her, Ava Grayson. I still remember that first day like it was a scene from a rom-com. 5'6", auburn hair that caught the sunlight just right, and these green eyes that could make you forget your own name. But it wasn't just her looks that got me. I'd learned the hard way that pretty faces can hide ugly truths. What really drew me in was how smart she was. We'd sit up until 2 o'clock in the morning, talking about everything from politics to our favorite cartoons. She'd surprise me with insights I'd never considered, and she made me feel like the funniest, most interesting guy in the world. After years of feeling like damaged goods, that was exactly what I needed. Our story started at a coffee shop downtown. Cliché, I know. She asked to borrow my phone charger, and one thing led to another. Before I knew it, we were debating whether pineapple belongs on pizza. She was team pineapple. I was firmly against it, but I was willing to negotiate. We dated for 8 months before I popped the question. Looking back, maybe that should have been a red flag. Maybe we moved too fast. But when you think you've found the one, 8 months feels like forever. I proposed on a random Tuesday in her apartment. No fancy restaurant, no big gesture. Just me, on one knee in her living room, while she wore sweatpants and watched Netflix. She said yes before I finished asking, tears streaming down her face. Our wedding was perfect in that small, intimate way that actually matters. Just us, family, and a handful of friends, under a massive oak tree in her parents' backyard. Those first months were everything you dream about. Saturday mornings, spent talking in bed, making plans for our future kids, a house, vacations. I was still walking around with a stupid grin on my face, buying her flowers just because it was Tuesday, surprising her with takeout after a rough day. I tried to be the supportive husband who made her life easier. We didn't have kids yet, but we weren't in any rush. We were still getting to know each other, still figuring out who took out the trash, and who remembered to pay the electric bill. And then came the Monday morning that changed everything. Ava came downstairs already dressed for work in a blue dress that made her eyes pop. She hugged me from behind as I made coffee, and I remember thinking how lucky I was to start every day like that. Hey babe, she said. There was something in her voice, nervous maybe. I've got some news about work. They want me to go on a short business trip, Chicago, just a few days. I was a little disappointed, since we had plans that weekend, but I was proud of her. That's awesome, I said, kissing her forehead. When do you leave? Thursday morning. I'll probably be back by the weekend. Thursday came too soon. I made her favorite breakfast, and we sat at the kitchen table. She seemed distracted, checking her phone more than usual, but I figured she was just nervous about the meetings. When it was time for her to leave, I hugged her a little too long, breathing in the scent of her shampoo and trying to memorize the feeling of her in my arms. Miss me while I'm gone, she said. Always do, I replied. If I'd known that kiss would be the last normal moment of our marriage, I would have held on a little longer. That night, the house felt too quiet. I microwaved leftovers and parked myself on the couch with a beer, flipping through channels. She texted me. In the afternoon, meetings going well? Hotel is nice? Miss you already. I sent her a cheesy joke. She sent back laughing emoji. The kind of text exchange that makes you grateful you found someone who gets your stupid sense of humor. Then, around 10:30, my phone rang. It was Ava's mom, Yvonne, calling late at night. I knew immediately something was wrong. On the phone, all I heard was sobbing, the kind that comes from deep in your chest. Marcus, you need to come to the hospital. It's Ava. Suddenly, I was in a nightmare. She told me Ava was at Mercy General, in surgery. After being attacked, I drove to the hospital like a man possessed, my brain trying to process what Yvonne had said. Ava was supposed to be in Chicago. She was supposed to be in meetings. Not in a hospital bed, fighting for her life. Yvonne was in the waiting room when I arrived. The doctor came out and told us that Ava was stable, but she'd suffered multiple stab wounds. The words barely registered. Who did this? I asked. The doctor hesitated, then said something that made my blood run cold. The police believe your wife knew her attacker. Turns out, Ava had never left town. She wasn't in Chicago. She'd been at a local motel with her ex-boyfriend Julian Cross, the same guy she'd called her high school mistake. She'd lied to me about everything. She'd spent 8 hours in a motel room with Julian, and when things went south, he attacked her. The police confirmed it all. They arrested Julian at the scene. As I sat there, trying to process it, I realized my marriage was over. She'd lied to my face, betrayed me, and put herself in danger. And now, her family wanted me to forgive and forget, to rush to her side and play the supportive husband. But I couldn't, I wouldn't. Instead, I called a divorce attorney. I hired a private investigator to get the truth. 4 months of lies, 4 months of secret meetings, 4 months of my wife living a double life while I thought we were building something real. And to make matters worse, her company had covered for her fake business trips. I sued everyone who helped her keep her secret. When she finally came home from the hospital, I had all the evidence laid out on the table. Every text, every hotel bill, every receipt. Actions have consequences. Ava, I told her. Something you should have thought about before you blew up our marriage. I watched her pack her things and leave, and for the first time in weeks, I could finally breathe. 6 months later, I was sitting on the deck of my new condo, watching the sun rise over Lake Michigan. The courts had ruled in my favor: no alimony, full division of assets, and damages for her misuse of our accounts. Her employer settled out of court. Julian went to jail for 5 years. As for Ava, she moved across the country to start over. People still ask me if I'll ever forgive her. My answer is always the same. Forgiveness isn't about handing your heart back to someone who destroyed it. It's about letting go of the anger, so it doesn't poison your future. I don't need her apology to sleep at night. I've learned the difference between forgiveness and stupidity, between mercy and being a doormat. Now, as I watch the sun rise over the lake, I finally understand what peace feels like. My life is my own, and that's the best revenge of all.